Well, good morning, guys. How is everyone doing on this particular that is Thursday? Just one more day to Friday, and of course, I'm looking forward to getting to have the weekend. But my name is Calmie. This is the Calmie African Diary Show. I hope everyone is doing okay. And being on a Thursday, I believe this is the day to have a lot of throwbacks. That is, it is throwback Thursday. Perhaps this is the time you can get to like go outside, rock the 90s, style your hair in the 90s. This is the time perhaps you can get to like just apart from dressing in the 90s, get to do things back then in the 90s, how things were just slow and easy for us. And it's funny how a lot of changes have actually happened. As much as you can get to say that it is due to modernity, as much as you can get to say that things are slowly evolving, I still think that we are actually the pioneers, or rather I still think that we got that opportunity to still keep tradition the way it used to be. Because if you get to take a look back at that is back then in the 90s, and you really get to take a look at how life was, I'm sure you are grateful that life was easy back then in the 90s. I'm sure that you're really yearning for that time back then in the 90s, and things like that. But then again, we cannot get to control that, but it is all about some of the certain things that you can get to set for yourself. My name is Kami, and this is the Kami African Diary Show. And on this particular day, it is the time that I get like I show you around, I get to take you around Nairobi. But sadly today I cannot be able to do that. There's just a lot of it is just muddy everywhere, and I really do not want to get myself that muddy. But irrespective, we do have some great interesting topic that we are about to talk about. So feel free to like interact, feel free to like give in your view regarding this topic of the day. And sorry for that noise. We are having, I think apparently our neighbors are just into the welding business. So, you cannot just like get to walk into their premises and get to tell them to shush. But apart from that, today we just do have a lot of, some amazing actually topic that we are about to talk about. Because, and I was just going through, how do I call it? I was just going through TikTok. TikTok right now, it is the Eat app. I understand that TikTok has been banned. I think it was banned in the United States by Trump back then, because a lot of memes were circulating about Trump. A lot of hate speech was circulating around about Trump. But in Africa, we still get to enjoy it. But this is just to say that the TikTok app has been abolished in different places. But nevertheless, to say, how is everyone doing? Because, like I've told you, we do have an interesting topic that we are about to talk about. And of course, I wouldn't mind getting to know your views regarding this. And also, family, remember this is the Black Hot Fire Network, media for the 21st century, and you can simply get to watch some of the videos that you might have missed by simply logging onto that is www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. You can also proceed and get to enjoy some of that is some of the shows. You can also proceed and get to enjoy some of the shows by simply logging onto www.blackhotfirenetwork.com. Once you are logged in, you can proceed get to listen to the music. You can also proceed and get that is to read some of the blogs that are on our platform. You can also proceed and get to that is listen to the music, read the blogs, because the reading culture has never stopped. And right now, it is all about modernity. Things have quite evolved. So I think getting to read the ebooks, you get to call them the ebooks. I think that is the thing right now. So Black Hot Fire got you covered. You can't simply get to read that one once you are logged in. And also, family, I think it was like just 2 weeks ago we were in Tanzania, and I must say that the experience was quite amazing. I really got to enjoy a lot in Tanzania. Apart from their cuisine, I really enjoyed that. Also, the fact that the Tanzanian people, they're really they're really, really nurtured people in terms of getting to interact um, with foreigners, because yes, in Tanzania I was a foreigner there, but they're really great people. They interact, that is the interacting with them is quite good. They're not harsh, they're not hostile towards you, and that is one thing that I loved about them, as opposed to where I'm coming from, that is in Nairobi. In Nairobi, yes, there's still some people who are good. There's still some people who can give you the right direction, but this is not to say that you get to trust everyone so easily, because you never know everyone's intentions. I'm not saying that this would have not happened in Tanzania, but I can say a majority of people that I did get to bump into, they were really good. And also another thing that I did get to learn about Tanzania, apart from how highly cultured the Tanzanian people are, I also got to learn the fact that this is one country that really believes in unity. This is one country that really believes in unity, and also this is one country that almost everyone is really contented, that is, with what they actually have. This is a place whereby hawkers will go out there, peddle their own products, irrespective of how small their business is. They'll still be motivated to wake up, go and hawk their business, because at the end of the day, they're like, if today does not get to provide an opportunity, if today does not get to guarantee me the opportunity to like get to put food on the table, then basically tomorrow is going to be. So that is one thing that I loved about Tanzania. And also apart from that, what I also got to love about Tanzania is the fact that in terms of their landscape, that their landscape is really, really great. And I believe if you are into business, then you can really get to do a lot of business opportunities in Tanzania. This is just a part of what I did get to enjoy. I hope you have watched some of the videos in terms of Tanzania, but nevertheless, let me just proceed one on one, and sorry, and I get, of course, to interact with the family, because there's just a lot that is happening. Remember, this is the Calmie African Diary Show, but today we are not in the studio. Today I'm just at my place, and I just want to talk about some few issues, because I couldn't get the opportunity to like go outside and show you around. It really rained heavily last night, so it's just a pretty a muddy almost everywhere. And navigation is just through a motorbike, and I didn't want to risk boarding a motorbike right now, because I might end up falling down. But respect it. Ama in Swahili we say moja kwa moja. Let's go to what is happening from my country in Nairobi, Kenya. So we have been talking about how the government, how different African governments are actually neglecting their people. We have been talking about how corrupt the African government is. We have also been talking about how we Africans, a pandemic is brought in our country, and we are forced to either take the vaccine, or we are forced to take some type of supplements to survive. And it is not our fault. But you find that most of these, for example, diseases, they are weaponized against the Africans, and I really agree with Keith on that. So just to cut the long story short, we just did have our own, that is the MOH, that is MOH basically means the Ministry of Health in Kenya. So we have been talking about how there's this in terms of transit, there's this one container that has been on the port of Mombasa for over, I think, for over a year right now, and this port did get to contain the anti-retrieval drugs for individuals who are actually using it. And there have been, a lot of people taking it out there to the street. There have been a lot of protests, with people taking out there to the streets, demanding for a better, for the government to really look into that. I'm really sorry about the noise. It's also disturbing me. I wish I could go out there and get like just someone. But I just want to speak about the fact that we do have the issue with the anti-retrieval drugs in the country, that our own government isn't really doing anything to make sure that those young kids out there who are surviving on antiretroviral drugs. What is the way forward for them? Because some of these kids risk their lives. I mean, they are risking their lives. So to make matters worse, I've just told you that you've had people taking it out there, to the streets, protesting, demanding for a better Kenya, demanding for them to be given, the antiretroviral drugs, but the government is still not doing that. And it saddens me that we are living in a world whereby, it is all about the connection. That if you do get connections, then you can proceed and get whichever you want. So recently, some people have been hospitalized because they took some antiretroviral drugs that had been banned in the country since the year 2019. Let me repeat this. Some individuals right now, they are risking losing their lives because they took some antiretroviral drugs, and these antiretroviral drugs had been banned in the country since the year 2019. And perhaps you're wondering, did these guys walk, walk, and I mean, did these guys just decide to take this out of goodwill? No, this medicine was distributed by the Ministry of Health to the Kenyans, knowing that these medicines have been banned from the country. But then again, the Ministry of Health in Kenya decided to go ahead and distribute this medicine to the citizens. And some of the side effects when you get to take this medicine, actually, some of the side effects include you having a nausea. Some people actually get to undergo fatigue. You get to undergo, your temperatures get to go so high, and you can be sick. And this actually, some of these symptoms can go on for even a week, a month. You cannot know. So I am wondering if the same Ministry of Health is the one that we highly depend on, that this is the same Ministry of Health that you'll get to work. Maybe your child is sick, and want the government of Kenya to give you medicine via their Ministry of Health. Most of the time, this medicine is either expired, or most of the time, this medicine isn't even supposed to be used by human beings because of the dire side effects that it has. So right now, the Ministry of Health has been questioned on what is really going on. To make matters worse, no one is giving any comments. So guys, welcome to Kenya, or let me say, Karibuni Africa, because here we are really messed up on a daily basis. I do not even want to talk about traffic. I do not want to even talk about how the economy is right now, but I'm just imagining that young child who cannot survive with antiretroviral drugs, or that young child who cannot be able to eat their food because they are lacking one supplement. And then to make matters worse, they are getting the wrong supplement. Let me know your views regarding that. Do you think that the Ministry of Health is really helping the people by giving them antiretroviral drugs that have been banned in the country since the year 2019 because of the side effects they get to cause to human beings? And just like any citizen, you will not question maybe how are these antiretroviral drugs looking so unique. You go on and take the medicine because you trust that it is coming from the Ministry of Health. So you trust that this medicine is going to help you and your family. But right now, as we are talking, some people have been hospitalized because of this medicine. We are going to lose thousands of Kenyans because of taking the wrong type of antiretroviral drug. And my question is, do you think that the Ministry of Health has every right to redistribute antiretroviral drugs that had been banned in the country a few years ago because of the dire side effects that it does have on, of course, human beings? Let me know that. And remember, this is the Calmie African Diary Show, right here on the Black Hot Fire Nature. And today it is just all about updates, so feel free, of course, to interact with me. And of course, we are not at the studios. It is the day that I am just supposed to like take you around, get to show you how Nairobi is. But like I've earlier on said, I couldn't be able to do that because of how really muddy it is outside there in terms of you risk falling down actually if you get to board that is a motorcycle. But I'm just giving you updates before we get to really talk about the main topic of the day, that is in terms of the Tokoloshe in South Africa. Well, this really got me feeling some type of goosebumps, and I think tonight I really need some form of, I do not know how I'm gonna sleep, but then again I try my best not to have those nightmares, because I've been watching its documentary, I've been watching the short movie, and it is quite creepy. But you'll really get on that as I'm waiting for your views regarding that. You'll really get to get on that. That is in terms of some of the mystical beliefs that we all have. I do understand that different communities have their own beliefs, and definitely we will soon get to talk about that. But before that, do you think that the Ministry of Health has every right to redistribute drugs that have been burned in the country to the unsuspecting civilians and go ahead and not even comment on it? What is really on? I mean, what is really going on? This is war against, of course, our people. And moving on from that, remember, this is the Blackout Fire Network Media for the 21st century, and you can basically that is feel free. You can basically feel free to interact with me. You can also feel free to like shoot your question. You can give in your views regarding the topic that you do have today. You can also proceed and get, that is to log on to www.blackoutfirenetwork.com, and once you are logged in, you can proceed and get to listen to some of the music. Remember, music is food for your soul. Remember, music is food for your soul. You can also proceed and get, that is to read some of the blogs. Also, once you are logged onto the website, you can also proceed and get to contribute to support the stream. We also highly appreciate that. Remember, it is all about doing the most. It is all about educating and spreading awareness out there right here on the Blackout Fire Network. And we also do have other shows as well. We do have the new shows that you just recently introduced. We do have the 254 Tujadili show, which is all about it is all about matters affecting us, and this is in terms of money, this is in terms of life, this is also in terms of love, because I believe these three unique things, they highly go hand in hand. Sorry about that. They highly go hand in hand. We also do have a new show which is called the Rhythm Scoop Show. You can also get to tune in and get to interact with us, because this is now all about entertainment. We are, of course, focusing on the African entertainment news, as also we get to take a look at what is happening in the diaspora entertainment, because there's just a lot of topics that you can basically get to talk about. And apart from that, you also do have other shows, the Calmie African Diary Show. We also do have other shows by Joby. That is, we also do have another show by Joby. We also do have other shows by Spikes. You can also get to listen to that. And moving on from that sad situation that is happening in the country regarding our president, let me take you one-on-one to South Africa and get to really, of course, tell you what is happening there before I even, of course, get to go to the main topic of the day. So right now, it is when the government of Cyril Ramaphosa is acknowledging the fact that it should have done something in terms of curbing corruption in South Africa. I mean, you had all the time to raise that notion. You had all the time to spread awareness regarding the rate of corruption levels in South Africa. So you get to wait until one individual, that is that, of course, the ex-president, that is Jacob Zuma. You get to wait until Jacob Zuma has been arraigned in court. Is when you're like, oh, or should have done something corrupt. I can tell you something for sure for free, that all these leaders are the same. I can tell you something for sure, that as much as Cyril Ramaphosa will come ahead and complain about how sorry he is that there is the increase in corruption level, still he himself is corrupt, because I cannot say that the people of South Africa, they are basically happy. I can say that this corruption level is increasing on a daily basis. And I'm so sick and tired of talking about corruption in Africa, how it is going on and on. But that is the situation in South Africa regarding corruption. That we do have, Cyril Ramaphosa trying to advocate for a better South Africa, but I do not think. Sorry about that, Hitch, but I do not think that that is basically going to happen. And moving on from that, remember this is the Calmie African Direction right here on the Black Hot Fire Network. It is all about updates, and let's go hand in hand. I wish I could be able to share with you the video. I wish I could be able to share with you the video and get to really show you what is really happening in terms of this unique topic that you do have today. So I had just asked the question, do you believe in the Tokoloshe? Do you believe in the Tokoloshe? Do you believe that it is something real? And also another thing is for a fact that different communities, of course, have their own mystical beliefs. I do understand that also in your family, maybe, or where you are coming from, you also do have your own unique beliefs, whereby you believe that perhaps if I get to do this and this, then I'm going to have some dire consequences. Perhaps you believe in that. And of course, South Africa is not left behind, because today it's more like we will be focusing on South Africa. So do you believe in the Tokoloshe? Let me repeat that, because I'm waiting for your view regarding that. Do you believe in the Tokoloshe? Because this is something that I just got to watch it over that is in the movie, and I'm just still shocked at what I have seen. And I'm just being, I keep begging myself. I'm like, I wish I just do not get to have nightmares. So perhaps you can proceed and get to Google what Tokoloshe is before you proceed and get to answer me. But it is about to get a really, really, of course, it is about to get a really, really a little bit weird, because this is some of the things perhaps we do get to interact with them on a daily basis. But because we are so glued with modernity, we do not get to take a point, that is, we do not get to take our time and get to really take a look at what is happening in our surroundings. So of course, feel free to give in your views if you do believe in that. Personally, I don't think, I do not want even to give my sentiments regarding that, but I was just on TikTok and I watched a video. This is more like an interview. One guy he had scars. I just said I wish I could be able to share this with the family, but then again, my device cannot allow me to do that. But this is one guy who was giving his side of a story. And if you could take a look at him, he had scars all over his body. If you could take a look at him, his hand, I think it was his left arm, has been, in terms of, let me just put this correct, his left hand has actually, it's more like, it's now, it's more like, it's more like deformed. And when he was being interviewed, something just shocked me. All these bodily harms that have been done on him, they're not done by a human being. That is according to him. Remember, this is a guy, and he's even breaking down. That all these scars were really, really disturbing to look at. So deep into his body, it's more like deep cuts, and his hand is deformed, and he was not born with a deformed arm. So when he was being asked, he said that the Tokoloshe has been, of course, have been attacking him every day. That it started on a weekly basis, and right now he cannot remember the time he was happy. That all these scars have been involved by a mystical being. This is in South Africa. We have been talking about history, we have been talking about our own culture, we have been talking about different African rituals. But this I found to be so quite absurd. Perhaps if there's anyone who has that information regarding the Tokoloshe, you can proceed and get to share that with us. But I just did get to find it a little bit weird, considering that I thought that all these mystical powers did not really get to exist. That is to exist. So that's why I asked if you actually believe in the Tokoloshe. So perhaps you're wondering, what is a Tokoloshe? For those who do not know what a Tokoloshe is, according to South Africans, because this gets to happen in different parts of South Africa, both the northern, both the southern South Africa, a Tokoloshe has been believed to be a mystical being that gets to exist among South Africans. You see the way, like in your community, you have that type of a being or that type of, some symbol that you get to say that, yes, this is something that I have talked about before. This is something that my ancestors had talked about it before, and it is happening. That is the same way, especially amongst the Zulu people. But in the Zulu community, Tokoloshes do get to exist. And one reason as to how they get to exist is by them being invoked by, I do not want to say the word, but they said one being invoked, of course, through witchcraft. I do not want to call it witchcraft because African, culture is so diverse. But according to, according to what I was watching, they say it's witchcraft in that, I there's, this actually brings me to the point whereby I'm like, is there good witchcraft and is there bad witchcraft? Well, perhaps there is. So to sum this one up, is that you get to actually locate a dead body. That's why I said I'm begging myself to sleep tonight after watching all that. So the Tokoloshe happens like this. You have to locate a dead body, decide if the body suits you or not. You see, those are two things. So you can imagine that how messed up your mind is going to be after all that, just because you want to cause someone some harm. This is more like the juju in Nigeria. It's more like the juju in Nigeria. Probably are like, oh, I'm going to put this juju in their food and they're going, to suffer so and so for me. Maybe it's a revenge or something. So in this, according to the Zulu people, they do not get to use that juju. They get to invoke a Tokoloshe to your homestead. So you get to look for a dead body, and if it suits you, that is the medicine man will proceed, remove its eyes out. The medicine man will proceed, remove its eyes and its tongue out, and also he will insert an iron to the brain to remove the brain out. Let me repeat this. That you need to find a medicine man, of course, a skilled medicine man. And in the process, you'll be looking for a dead body. Of course, this is done in the weird hours of the night because no one would want their beloved one to be used in this way. So after relocating for that dead body, you will have, you individually, because you want to send this Tokoloshe to go and disturb someone, you'll get to remove its eyes, you'll also get to remove its tongue, and you'll also get to insert a hot iron, not a hot iron, but of course an iron, and remove out its brain. And the reason as to why you get to remove its brain, it is because the Tokoloshe can now be able to be under you, that you can be able to control it, that you are now its new master. And to add more salt to this is that you get, of course, to like pour some special powder on this Tokoloshe in quotes, of course. And after that, everything is set. Then you are ready to destroy whomever you want in the society. And before I even get to continue with that, everything has a price. And the Tokoloshe definitely does have its own price. And its price is a soul. So you as an individual, perhaps let me say I'm mad at someone and I'm like, I'm going to make them suffer for the rest of their lives in this earth. I'll be ready to tell the medicine man that I am ready to give the Tokoloshe a soul of its choice from my family, and this has to be someone I love. That only is the only guarantee you need. And to worsen it is that you're not the one who is going to choose for the Tokoloshe which relative you want to do away with. The Tokoloshe now will decide whom it wants to take away from your family as a form of payment. And after payment is done, it will go torture that individual for the duration of time that you actually want. Guys, do you think this is real? I'm telling you, I've just watched a documentary. I've just watched some videos on TikTok. That is, of course, I've just watched some video on TikTok, and I got a little bit, disturbed. And that's why I'm talking about this. That's why I'm like, if there is someone who actually has some information regarding this, please feel free to give your views. And after that, so what this Tokoloshe will basically do to a person is that it will give them hard time, because they are known to be mischievous individuals. And I just wish I could share the images, but you can basically get to Google this. It is called the Tokoloshe, and it is basically mostly used in South Africa, especially by the Zulu people. So if there's any Zulu, or if there's anyone who actually has a Zulu friend, perhaps you can get to tell us if this is indeed true. So what it will do, because it is a very mischievous, creature, it will make sure that it gets to disturb the host for the longest time possible. It is under you, so you get to send it to do whatever it wants to do. And some of this, it has been known, to make people, of course, indulge in crime. It has been known to make people, murder. It has been made to make people rape others. And of course, some of these acts, they are, most of the time, if you get to be found by the public, most of the time you get to be lynched to death. So if someone is wanting to mess you up, they get to send you a Tokoloshe in South Africa. I'm still getting to digest all this information. I'm still trying to understand the reality in all this, if this is indeed happening. But you can't get to watch even the Tokoloshe movie. I believe it explains more about that. But this is a myth from South Africa. And the reason as why I have asked you, do you believe in the Tokoloshe? My answer, I'm still disturbed. But there's just a lot of things that do get to exist in the universe. There's just a lot of things that do get to exist. So let me use the word the underworld, that some of us might not be aware of, apart from those who get to indulge in this act. So the Tokoloshe will torment you for the longest time possible, until when maybe you are tired because you are the master. Until when you're like, it's time this person has really gone through hell and they have learned their lesson. That is when you will be able to claim it back. And also another thing, Tokoloshes, according to the Zulu community, they are used to scare children. Not scare them in a good way, because some of these Tokoloshes have been known to make these children to become critically ill. Also, some of these Tokoloshes have been known to even end up murdering these children. Guys, this is some creepy information, of course, that I'm sharing with you. And I just wanted to find out more information about this. If there is anyone who really has information about the Tokoloshe, please tell me. Because I really want to believe that this is a myth. But from the video, from the way the man was speaking, from the injuries on his body, I was like, damn, this really gets to exist. Just the same way, in Nigeria, where you get to deal with a juju, still they did get to send a juju, and as a result, or someone's child has really been messed up. Someone's child has not been able, to do what is required of them. So that is just the same thing with the Tokoloshes, according to the Zulu people. It is, of course, a myth, but some people have come to say that it is still existing. Some people have come to witness it, and as a result, it is all about what you are subjected to from a young age. And from some of the way people are speaking, they're at a young age they were afraid. At a young age they were afraid, to sleep on the floor. They usually go to raise their beds high, or maybe add a brick near your bed so that it is high, because they believe that Tokoloshes will not be able to climb raised places because they're believed to be short. It's more like they're more like zombies, but short, extremely short, dwarf like zombies. Exactly, they are believed to be dwarf like zombies. So for some people, they have lived with this myth and they believe that it is actually true. Well, talk about myths. There's just a lot of myths in our community that do get to govern our daily to that is our day-to-day lives. There's just a lot of myths in our community that actually have made some people not to indulge in any act because they get to fear some of the consequences. Or perhaps you can't get to tell us what are some of the myths that do get to govern you in your community. What are some of the things that perhaps if you do get to do them, you fear that the consequences might be dire to you? What are some of them? And also you can maybe get to tell us if you really believe if this Tokoloshe thing is a myth or just is just or if it is a reality, or perhaps you've had someone interact with that, you can perhaps get to share that one with us. Remember, this is the Calmie African Diary Show right here on the Black Fire Network, media for the 21st century. And of course, we are all about updating you to know what is happening. We are all about talking about some of the things that do get to happen around us. And I just got to find this quite interesting because I've never interacted with this story before until today when I just watched a video. I'm like, I did my own research into that, but I think even the articles are just still dumbfounded by all that information that is out there. This is the Calmie African Diary Show, of course, on the Black Fire Network, media for the 21st century. And of course, remember, guys, you can get to log onto our that is website by simply logging onto www.blackoutfirenetwork.com. Once you are logged in, you can proceed and get to listen to some of the music. You can get to read some of the blogs. You can also proceed and get that is you can also proceed and get to the net to contribute to the network. We highly appreciate that one. And also another thing is that you can proceed and get to watch some of these videos. You can get to share some of these videos. You can also get to like some of these videos. We are talking about the Tokoloshes right here on the Calmie African Diary Show, because today it is all about updates. It is all about what is happening in different places. I've just given you an update on what is happening in Kenya, in that the government that is the Ministry of Health in Kenya went ahead and gave out anti-retroviral drugs to unsuspecting citizens. And some of these anti-retroviral drugs had been banned in the country the year 2019 because of course of the dire side effects that they do get to have on the people. And until now, the Ministry of Health is not giving any comments. Till now, the Ministry of Health is just, all it's doing actually is just getting in the patients and getting to admit them. So you can imagine how this is going to affect a young child who actually gets to highly depend on the antiretroviral drugs. That is what's trending in the country. And moving on, I would like to take you a little bit to Malawi. There is some great information in Malawi. Most of the time you get to find that you have maybe indulged into a crime. Well, you are not ready to indulge into it. But then again, I do not want to say that I do not want to justify any form of crime. But most of the time, perhaps maybe it was an accident, and boom, you found yourself, maybe in a penitentiary or something like that, and you really do not have any other alternative than either to serve a sentence. So right now in Malawi, if you were sentenced to death, that one has been abolished. Let me repeat this: the death penalty in Malawi has been abolished. And the reason as to why it has been abolished, because different critiques have been brought about regarding that. The reason as to why it has been abolished, it is because they believe that when you get to give someone a death sentence, then they really do not get to change their ways. How true is that? Then they really do not get to feel the consequences of what they had done. How do you really think about that? That's in Malawi right now. So I can imagine the sigh of relief for some of the inmates who were actually given a death sentence. So according to them, they also believe that instead of giving someone a death sentence, that then you are given of course then you are given that is you are given a life imprisonment. So in Malawi right now, in terms of the highest penalty right now, the highest penalty in Malawi is life imprisonment. That if you get if the court maybe finds you guilty of something, depending with the charges, you get you get of course to serve life imprisonment in some of these cells, which I think it will give an individual, that time to like really try, to focus on themselves. It will give an individual that time, to like really try and get to do something better for themselves. It will also maybe make them to try and be good people. But I don't think so. If I'm given a life sentence and I know there's no way I'm going to go outside, then I'm going to torture some of those inmates who are going to come in to spend just a short period of time. If you believe, okay, I'm just saying, I'm not saying that I'm a psycho, but I'm just imagining, for some people, because if you're given a life sentence, then at some point, because you're looking at this from two different angles, if you're given a life sentence, then there are two angles. You might either change to be good and regret your actions, or you might decide that all these new inmates who are actually going to come, they are going to know who you are. You're going to torture them. You're going to ensure that their stay in prison is not a bed of roses. So that is the situation, of course, in Malawi. That there is no longer no death sentence, because they believe that inmates have the right, to serve a life sentence instead of a death sentence, and that by serving, of course, a life sentence, they are of course going to be able to learn their mistakes. And also another thing is that, of course, Malawi, of all the places, come on, we all know that Malawi itself is also a little bit messed up. They were like, all these death sentences. It is against, of course, the international human rights for citizens. I mean, if you start to really take a look at the international rights for human beings, there is a lot of them that have been infringed, and I can say that Malawi, of all the African countries, it has not been left behind regarding that. But that is it regarding Malawi. I do not know how you feel regarding that. That we get to abolish death sentence. I also think in Kenya we do not have the death sentence. I also believe in Kenya we do not have the death sentence, because I haven't seen of that. But in some countries, for example, Arabian countries, death sentence is highly advocated for. Some countries, for example, countries that do get to participate in Islamic religion, most of them, they do get to use Sharia laws, and some of these Sharia laws, they believe in an eye for an eye. Well, I cannot comment more on that, because some communities, religion has also pretty much messed up. But for majority of Muslim countries, they believe that it is an eye for an eye. So that's why we do have the death sentence in most of these Islamic states. But for some countries, they believe abolished. They have abolished, of course. They have, of course, abolished the issue with the death sentence amongst them. Well, I can say I just have a 50 by 50 feelings regarding this situation in Malawi, that we do not have the death sentence, that you do have, of course, life imprisonment. And on the brighter side is that this thing, I think it is better, because for those individuals, most of the time when a harsh sentence is passed, it is hard for you to realize that an elite person has been given a death sentence. It is very rare for you to realize that an elite person has been given that chance to spend life imprisonment. Most of the time, they'll bribe their way out. So, which means that this death sentence is actually going to affect the poor in Malawi. Not only in Malawi, but in different African countries. That the death sentence is going to affect the poor. Just the same way with justice. There's no justice if you do not have money. There's no justice if the people do not get to scream louder. That is in terms of coming about with hashtags on different social media platforms, in terms of pressuring the government. That is when you get to see justice. And this is just the same way in Malawi. The right now, most of these death sentences, they used to affect the poor in Malawi. Do you think that these death sentences, of course, did get to affect the poor in not only in Malawi but in different states as well? Do you believe that these death sentences, of course, do get to affect them? Personally, I believe that yes, these sentences do get to affect the poor, because if you do not have the right channels, if you do not have the right funds, then trust me, you are going to be given some of the harshest, sentences for you to continue to serve. And let me just move on to another story. Remember, this is the Calmie African Diary Show, and today I'm just updating you on what is happening on different places. Remember, this is on a Thursday, so it is all about the throwback Thursday. This is the time you get to wear those. We call them palazzo pants. Right now, they're actually a trend, and I love how in the 90s, it is more like the 90s is actually making a comeback. That is why today I just decided to like do a little bit of my hair, a little bit of back then in the 90s. This is the hairstyle that my mom I used to love to rock, palm rods, and you are the it thing. So perhaps you can be making it a tradition that on every Thursday, not only on every Thursday, because sometimes you'll be too glued with work, but perhaps you can be making it a tradition that you try to remind the new generation of where we are coming from, that you try to remind them of the 90s, the oldies, as to how dope they were, because these are some of the things that are really making a comeback right here in of course the country, not only in Africa, but I believe in the diaspora as well. I believe you are interacting with the same. Remember, it is all about updates, and we do have just one more day. I think we do have just one more day to the weekend, and yes, everybody is just looking forward to getting to interact, of course, to getting to have some you time over the weekend. Remember, we have talked about the Tokoloshes, that is which is a Zulu myth, which means a dwarf stroke. It is more like a dwarf. It is more like a dwarf that is in a zombie form, and I do not understand. I do not, of course, know if this is true or false, but from the documentary, it really seems like a yes. All right, sorry about that a slight hitch. From the documentary, this really seems to be something real, because some of these Tokoloshes, we also do have Tokoloshes in terms of assault. So yes, there you go. I believe this is so correct. can hear me. Hope you can hear me. Let me know if you can. Okay, yeah. I'm just talking about the fact that Zambia did get to celebrate yesterday on the 28th. A plane crash that did get to happen back then. I believe it was in the 90s. And this plane crash actually did get to happen in Gabon after the plane had just landed to refuel. And on this particular plane, we did have, I believe, some 13 footballers from Zambia who had boarded to like go out and go to represent Zambia in football. I'm not a football fanatic that much. I've seen, how crazy football can make people actually in terms of betting, in terms of even hating one another just because of a team. And these footballers do not even get to recognize you. But then again, and it is all about someone's passion. So in Zambia right now, I think it is more like a shrill, it's more like not a shrill, it's more like a sad mood for a majority of Zambians, because they get to commemorate the 13 players plus some of the families that did get to lose their beloved ones on this particular plane crash. That after refueling in Gabon, this plane exploded, and until now we do have the current Zambian president, who was then advocating for the justice to be served, because it was very weird for this plane to just explode all of a sudden. Until now, the government of Zambia has never done anything to ensure that the story has been looked into. And we also do have now the current Zambian president. He has not done anything to ensure that the information has been looked into, considering that then he was a lawyer. And right now that he's the president, he's now turning a deaf ear regarding this. So, of course, rest in peace to some of these footballers. And I can just imagine how their families are, I can just imagine how their families are languishing in pain. I can imagine, some of these Zambian players, they were the breadwinners for their family. But of course, due to this weird explosion that did get to happen, it's been, of course, I think from the year 1970, it's been more than almost 20 years, and no justice is being served. Irrespective of the awareness, irrespective of some individuals, of course, were compensated. But even if you're compensated that money, you cannot compare money versus the life of an individual, because the life of an individual is definitely priceless. So as much as we are getting to enjoy our daily basis, remember there are some people in certain places who are actually lamenting on this particular month. This is April. And Zambians are not just the only one who are also trying to fight for justice. We also do have the same situation in in Rwanda, whereby we did have the 1994 genocide in Rwanda that did get to take place. Also, this is a sad month for a lot of Rwandese as they are trying to fight justice for their victims. We are almost coming to the end of the show, and I really appreciate everyone who did get to tune in. Remember, it has been about updates right here on the Calmie African Diary Show. I really appreciate everyone. And also, guys, remember, you can simply get to log on to www.blackwoodfirenetwork.com. And once you are logged in, you can proceed and get to listen to some of the shows. You can get to like these shows, you can get to subscribe to the network. You can get also because it is every day is a learning experience. Personally, for me, every day is a learning experience on this platform. You can also proceed and get, of course, to listen to the music on this Blackwood Fire website. Remember, we are coming to the end of the show, because I do understand there are other shows that are just about to come a few minutes from now. You can also proceed and get that is to listen to the great music. Music is food for your soul, and you definitely need to feed your soul the right type of music. You do not need to feed your soul some negativity there. I can also get to read some of the blogs. I do understand that you do have a lot of different blogs that are lined up there for you. We are, of course, coming to the end of the show, but before that, anyone with the Tokoloshe information, or you can simply get to Google that one up and let me know maybe on tomorrow's show, because we do have other shows tomorrow. Let me know on tomorrow's shows what are your views regarding the Tokoloshes, because this is some new information to me. I do understand that we do have a lot of things, going in the underworld that we are not aware of. But then again, they say that only those individuals in the underworld, or only those who are participating in the underworld, get to really, really, really know what is happening in the underworld. So we are just about coming to the end of the show. And also, guys, remember to check out our videos when you were in Tanzania. The experience was great. You can simply get to watch some of the videos, some of the amazing sceneries that Mother Nature did get to offer us in Tanzania. And also, we do have other shows as well. We do have other shows as well. I'm talking about the Rhythm Scoop Show. I'm talking about the 254. That is, I'm talking about the 254 Tujadili show. Sorry, I'm talking about the 254 Tujadili show right here on the Black Fire Network. And I am also talking about the Rhythm Scoop there by Joby, the Pan African Blaze show by Joby. Can also get towards that. 54 correspondence by Spikes. This is just the Africana Today show. You can also get towards that, because every day is definitely a learning experience for a lot of us. Thank you so much for tuning in. And also remember, you can get to contribute to support the stream. We also appreciate that. And I just want to leave you with this amazing Swahili saying that says, Hayawi, Hayawi, Hua. More like a tongue twister. Let me repeat this. Hayawi, Hayawi, Hua. Yes, for some people, learning Swahili is quite hard. And for some people, getting to understand Swahili is quite hard. Yes, I do understand that, different languages, they're just quite hard. But, depending with the energy you get to put there, do you really want to learn it? Do you really want to be able to converse in it? Well, yes, then you can proceed and do it. So this basically means Hayawi, Hayawi, Hua. In Swahili, it basically means that whatever has been anticipated for will definitely get to happen. Let me repeat this. Whatever has been anticipated for will definitely get to happen. In terms of that, I am talking about the situation that you do have right now in the country, whereby we are hoping that our president will be able to unlock the country. Please, Mr. President, get to reopen the country. We are suffering. We have suffered enough. Enough is enough. Things are just not quite easy out here. Please open up. Some people are just lamenting. Some people took loans to start their businesses. Some people had just gotten their first jobs. But shock to them, because this first job, they were not even able to receive their first salary. So you can imagine how the streets are out here. So Hayawi Hua, we are highly anticipating for the country to be unlocked, but regardless, it is all about trying to be as strong as possible. So guys, you'll get to interact tomorrow on the Calmie African Diary Show. Tomorrow being on a Friday, it is all about entertainment. And guys, I love you. Of course, I like to share. Of course, I like to share with you some amazing information that you'll get to share maybe tomorrow. But I love also, guys, for you to ensure that you are taking precautions, that you are as safe as possible. Remember, as we are approaching the weekend, do not drink and drive, irrespective of what you might be going through. Do not drink and drive. Your safety matters, so we are looking unto you. And also remember, Black Fast any day, anytime. Remember, we highly appreciate when we do get to come together. We also need to spread awareness out there that the Black is beautiful, Black is also supreme, and do not let anybody steal your shine. Do not let anybody look down upon you because of your skin color. Because if anything, we really, really appreciate the Black community. We really, really appreciate that we are doing the most to show the rest of the world that yes, we deserve it, and that we're doing the most to show the rest of the world that yes, we are what it takes any day, anytime. Muwe na siku njema. My name is Calmie. This has been the Calmie African Diary Show right here on the Black Fire Network. Kwa heri, tutaonana baadaye katika vipindi vingine vitakavyofuata. I just say that goodbye, and you'll get to interact on other shows that you'll get. That you'll get, of course, to happen tomorrow. Do have a great day, and remember to stay safe and be always on the lookout.